This is a story about land between the lakes. This is where I spent a great deal of my time at, up here, pertaining to the sacred site. They're off of by Legal Road 142. And see if I can get this thing to stay. And over by Sugar Bay, they have some local information to give to the people in the district that want to know what's going on with L.B.L. pertaining to people coming up there and having recreation that has been promised to them, because keep in mind it was originally TVA that forced a great deal of those people out of the boundaries of their property because of modern day electricity and building the lakes. And of course in I believe it was 1963, it was Kennedy that flew over the area that declared it a total loss and turned it into a national recreation area towards getting everybody off the property. Everybody, regardless of where you was. So they have had a great deal of controversy in that area. That was one reason why that God led me up into that area, so that I could plant the sacred site of an altar where the sword symbolizing peace on earth was sanctified on two different occasions. The first time is whenever the government intervened in wanting to confiscate the sword from the ministry. That just proves that much more that they did not want peace by confiscating the sword in 1989 down in Madison County in Jackson, Tennessee. But through all the horrors that I've went through, and I do mean horrors, of being falsely accused of so many different accusations, false accusations up into that area. So now they're finding out a little bit more, because they had been given an advisory, I guess from their state up in Frankfort, Kentucky, that they was going to diminish or belittle a great deal of their funding leading up not only into this year but next year too as well. So let us see what's going on here pertaining to this new information.
Areas. Land Between the Lakes has been in headlines for months because of controversial conversations surrounding its upcoming budget.
Yeah, Lyon County Judge Executive Wade White filed a Freedom of Information request to obtain emails between Forest Service employees. This after Forest Service said this line left blank for recreation and heritage does not mean zero funding for the next year. Local 6's Temi Adelea joins us now. So Temi, how much information was received from this FOIA?
More than 500 pages worth, and more than 150 pages were redacted, including emails about budgets for the current and upcoming year. It's still going to take time. It's still going to take me time to get through them, but Lyon County Judge Executive Wade White tells me he's gone through all of them. Now, he says that based off of the information he's seen, his relationship with local L.B.L. employees is fine, but he doesn't think Region 8 is being considerate of the people who use the recreation area.
What has happened over the past few years is less money has come down from Region 8 and more reliance has been put upon collecting more fees, raising fees, making sure that less things are being taken care of and improved. And these all come from Region 8. That's where I lay the entire blame upon where we are right now with the budget and with these emails and with all the things that we're having to deal with.
Again, there are more than 500 documents to go through. We will continue to update you as we learn more information about the future funding for Land Between the Lakes.
All right, Temi, thanks. To learn more about the discussions surrounding L.B.L.'s budget, look for all of our coverage at WPSDLocal6.com.
In COVID-19 news, we're a little less than 3 weeks until the deadline.
I want to back up a little bit there at the beginning just to weigh in
An activity to track in the tropics.
on what they're talking about here pertaining to
Favorite.
this particular area. The way that I've understood it, whenever I first went on my crusade in 1989, I made or distributed a altar all from Sugar Bay that at that time TVA was still in charge of that whole region. They was in charge of that whole region leading up to 2000. It was after 2000 was whenever it got tossed over to the forestry division that now today is struggling because of COVID and because of the economy that has taken a plunge. The thing about our government, whenever our government starts suffering, ordinarily any recreational area, it doesn't matter if it's Yellowstone, it doesn't matter if it's out in Denver, it doesn't matter if it's up in Wyoming, it doesn't matter where it may be, ordinarily these will be the areas that will be hit the hardest and first, because these are the areas in the eyes of most statesmen, senators, congressmen, governors that can afford to be put on a back burner. Like I told you, in 1989, whenever I built an altar, and I stayed up there for 40 days and 40 nights, yes, at the same place, it was under TVA management. Since all those occurrences took place in my life, of various things that's happened, it was in 2007 that I went back to L.B.L. towards engaging in another ceremony for God to sanctify another sword symbolizing peace on earth. I have never in my life seen so many frustrating situations that occurred. And if anybody knows anything at all about my life, they'll know what I'm talking about. From a group of people that tried to make me out to be a homegrown terrorist up around the Kentucky Dam, to a captain by the name of Captain Dwayne Camry that tried to make out like I had personally threatened him and threatened his life because I had told him that if they'd come back up there agitating and aggravating me again after I went out to Denver, Colorado, that God was going to take care of them. For some reason, he took that as a threat. A threat to me is coming from the individual that's putting out the advisory. I have never told anybody that I was going to harm or hurt anybody. I've told people before that my guardian angels would take care of that problem and that God would take care of that problem, but not me directly. But by me spending as much time as I spent up there, these people in that area not only tried to bury me the first time by promoting me as a homegrown terrorist of somebody that was going to blow up the Kentucky Dam, but about a week and a half later, done it again while I was staying in a campsite up by Aurora, Kentucky, which is outside the Land Between the Lakes area in a private campsite area. So it's no doubt I was fighting demonic forces, working through illegitimate people in the Land Between the Lakes. There's no doubt that by me telling them that God had showed me that there was going to be major electrical disturbances to come into America, they took it out of context and tried once more to promote me as me being a homegrown terrorist like I was going to create or manufacture the electrical disturbances by damaging or destroying the Kentucky Dam. What has gotten into people that has targeted the founder of the Windmill Ministries? I'm going to tell you what it is. It's Satan in the flesh that does not want to see the manifestation of that in which what I have been preaching and teaching for the past 30 some odd years, does not want to see it come to pass. Even though our country is divided, even though our country is split, even though there's more violence than it's ever been, even though there's more drug addiction and more problems pertaining to everything else that's going on, they still decline to want to support an anointed ministry that has been anointed by God to go forth in the last days with a divine message. And it was simply because, just like the people around in this area locally in Northwest Tennessee, that they didn't like the message coming from the messenger. It wasn't nothing that I done personally to any of those people up in Land Between the Lakes. I actually went beyond the call of duty in 2009 in January, after me finding out that they had been hammered by a major ice storm. I actually took the initiative towards quitting my job and going up into that area and doing free humanitarian work, give or take, for about 8 weeks, during the time that all the electricity was out and during the time that people was in great need. At first, the people over in, I believe it was Livingston County, and I don't know my counties that well. I know that Lyon County is somewhere up in that area, pretty close to Benton, I believe. But you got Trigg County, Marshall County, Livingston County. You got like 5 or 6 different counties that merge right there in that area. But I tried to help, and did help, after I got out of that region, because so many people had identified me and was still casting a dark shadow over my character. I pray for the people in Land Between the Lakes. I pray for the people up in Western Kentucky. I pray for the people here in Northwest Tennessee. I pray for America, and I don't pray for bad things to happen to us. I pray that God will open their eyes and that they will come out of this demonic pending spirit that they're under, and that eventually they will understand that this message is a anointed divine message coming from God, that yes, we and they, us, are supposed to embrace in these last days. I want to say thank you to my viewers. Good luck to each and every one of us. I don't know for sure what's going on pertaining to their finances up at Land Between the Lakes, but I can validate some of the things that they're talking about in regards towards certain roads that wasn't intended to, because of heavy rains that had washed out places. Various parks that seemed like they had put on a back burner to the point that they wouldn't being looked upon or occupied near as well as what they should, because it does take a great deal of money to run an establishment like this, even though they claim at any given year, other than the pandemic year last year, that they have, give or take, around 3 to 4 million people that visits Land Between the Lakes, because people like that area, and it does have a certain spirit. It has a certain attraction ship to it, towards that in which what had attracted me into that area in 1989. So I just want to say thank you to my viewers, and good luck to each and every one of us. And yes, shalom, coming from the Windmill Ministries here at 291 Thompson Road, Sharon, Tennessee, zip code 38255. Thanks again.